This is Jet 24 Action News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Brian Wilk. Multiple fire crews in Harbor Creek battled a blaze late this afternoon. Now this happened at a residence on the 2600 block of Clark Road just after 4 o'clock. When crews arrived, heavy smoke was coming out of the house. Now fire crews say they had to approach the fire with caution because power lines were down by the fire. Now, our news crew at the scene tells us Penelec crews were there working on those power lines, and fire crews were able to put out the fire, and the two people that lived in the house made it out safely. And a busy morning for firefighters in Cranesville. They responded to a house fire around 11 a.m. this morning. This house located on the 8,000 block on Carberry Road. According to reports, the fire started on the second floor and spread to the roof of the building. Crews were able to put it out by about 11:30 and no injuries were reported. Now let's take a look at the COVID-19 numbers in the state and our region. The Department of Health reporting 1,054 additional positive cases Saturday, bringing the total to over 106,000 cases. There were 13 new deaths reported, bringing that total to 7,114. In the region, Erie County reporting 847 total cases. Crawford County is up 31 cases to 117. Warren County still reported 14 cases. Chautauqua County, New York, up 2, reporting 220, and 507 cases reported in Ashtabula County, Ohio. And data shows more than 90,000 people have died from COVID-19 since the U.S. reopened. Now, the numbers come as school districts around the world are debating whether to have in-person classes. CNN's Paulo Sandoval has the story.
6 months into the pandemic, and some of the nation's coronavirus stats are going from bad to worse. As the nation surpassed 4 million COVID cases and over 145,000 deaths this week, California beat out New York as the state with the most infections to date.
When we began to reopen our economy, we focused so much on when, but we didn't focus enough on how to not only do it, but to educate individuals.
On Friday, California recorded its highest number of COVID deaths. In hard-hit LA County, health officials are warning the virus may soon become a leading cause of death among residents. COVID cases seem to be plateauing in some of Texas's largest cities, but in one small South Texas border county, patients may be sent home to die if a hospital ethics and triage committee deems them too sick to recover. The local county judge says their hospital is at capacity. That's also a common struggle for health facilities in Florida, which saw a nearly 84% increase in COVID hospitalizations since July the 4th, as statistics hit record-breaking highs in the South and West. Parts of the Northeast are experiencing lows not seen since March. On Friday, New York recorded its lowest number of hospitalizations in nearly 4 months. And with the approaching school year just weeks away, parents and teachers facing uncertainty about when or if in-person classes will resume amid a push to open schools.
Kids ought to have the option to learn in person and virtually. I believe they ought to have choices. If teachers have vulnerable immune systems, they ought to have options as well. But we have to get our kids back into a school in a safe way.
If you are going to bring the children back.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's leading infectious disease expert, urging school districts not to rush to any decisions.
There are a lot of people with underlying conditions out there, so I think when you talk about forcing teachers to come back to school, you better be careful about that and make sure you pay attention to keeping them safe and keeping them healthy.
Fauci not ruling out outdoor teaching as a way to get students back to school.
I wear this all the time.
And recommending face coverings be worn in the classroom.
Doing physical activities like playing soccer.
And a week-long celebration honoring the late Congressman and civil rights icon John Lewis begins this weekend. On Saturday, memorial services honoring Lewis took place in Troy and Selma, Alabama. Daryl Forges has a closer look at the emotional farewells.
Celebrating the life and legacy of the boy from Troy. On Saturday, the first of 6 days honoring the late Congressman John Lewis began. His birthplace, Troy, Alabama, paying tribute to the towering figure of the civil rights movement.
Congressman Lewis has come home.
At Troy University, family, friends, and the public said their final farewells. The auditorium only allowing a limited number of people inside to maintain safe social distancing measures. Lewis died last week at the age of 80 after a short battle with cancer.
His last word was, "How's the family doing?" And I said, "They're doing fine." He said, "Will you make sure to tell them that I asked about him?"
Tributes taking place this week in 5 cities linked with key moments in the congressman's life, including Selma, Alabama, where a military honor guard will escort Lewis's body across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the same bridge where Lewis helped lead a march for black voting rights in 1965, and was brutally beaten by Alabama state troopers, an event that came to be known as Bloody Sunday.
In a time when going to jail was perceived as trouble, he reminded us that it was good trouble, necessary trouble.
The public will also get to pay their respects when he lies in state in Montgomery, Washington, D.C., and Atlanta, Georgia, which Lewis represented in Congress for more than 3 decades.
Congressman John Lewis was my uncle and my hero, and it's up to us to keep his legacy alive.
I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
And Hurricane Hanna has made landfall on Padre Island, Texas. The National Hurricane Center says it hit at 5 p.m. Central Time on Saturday with sustained winds at 90 miles per hour, making it a high-end Category 1 hurricane. Hanna is expected to bring 6 to 12 inches of rain, with some areas seeing up to 18 inches through Sunday night in South Texas and Mexico. And Hawaii is bracing for the arrival of Hurricane Douglas. The storm currently tracking as a Category 1 with maximum sustained winds of 90 miles per hour. Now, forecasters say the storm could dump as much as 15 inches of rain, causing concerns of flash flooding. Douglas is on track to make landfall sometime Sunday. It's the first Eastern Pacific major hurricane of 2020. And coming up next on Jet 24 Action News at 11, beloved by millions of Americans and a familiar face on their television screens since the 1960s, Regis Philbin passed away Friday. We'll have more on the career and life of the legendary TV host. That's after Craig's forecast. Hey, Craig.